Good morning, traders, and welcome to the market call for today, the 12th of April, 12th of May, sorry, I beg your pardon, 12th of May, 2025. I'm excited to have you all here during this period of the market call. I am CJ, and I'm going to be taking you through the first part of the market call as we take a look at the following currency pairs, starting off with the dollar index, and then we'll be looking at GBP USD and Euro USD. Then we'll flip it over to look at gold against the dollar and a couple of yen pairs as well as the yen basket. Okay, so straight up, we're going to be hitting the ground running on our analysis as we look at GBP, JPU, as we look at the US dollar index starting off first. Okay, now for the US dollar index, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, we've been predicting a buy for the US dollar index. We're expecting it to buy all the way into this level, which is our point of interest. You can see this orange line right here, where we drew out our expectation for the US dollar index. So we've been expecting that buy and wanted to see it trade all the way there ahead. Yeah. So this is the arrow that we used to illustrate that. We wanted to see US dollar index trade all the way to this level and then sell off afterwards. And you can see that price is playing out according to our analysis this morning. So moving forward, we'll be expecting that a sell-off will continue on US dollar index after here, all right? Except we start to see more positive news, because we're already seeing positive news from the dollar. Unless we start to see more of those kinds of news from the dollar, then we would have to change our bias on the dollar. Now, talking about positive news, before we continue in the technical analysis, just a brief rundown of our fundamentals and what we expect to see moving into this week. First off, following the calendar, we're expecting US CPI on Tuesday, the 13th of May at around 1:30 p.m. GMT +1. And then we're also expecting, we're expecting PPI on Thursday. So CPI on Tuesday, PPI on Thursday. So those are the two main events we're expecting to be announced, or two main news we're expecting to be announced this week. And then on the other side, we also saw some news this morning about US and China. It started around the weekend into this morning. Now, you know that the tariff war that we were talking about and we analyzed around the month of March, was based on US versus Canada, US versus China. So those were like the two big guns against the US, Canada and China, during the tariff wars. But currently, we're seeing news that the US may likely be negotiating their tariff with China. So they're going to be seeing drastic decrease in the tariffs imposed on China from the US, and then tariffs imposed on the US from China. So we're going to be seeing that decrease because they are having successful negotiations so far, just like they had with Japan. So for that reason, we're seeing normalcy return to the market, and we might be seeing more interest in the US because this decrease in tariff is going to favor both currencies, but starting off with the US at first, because I mean, the US dollar is more global than the Chinese yuan. Okay, so we're going to be seeing more moves to the US. So we're going to be seeing the US dollar buying during this period, because during the period when they were imposing tariffs on one another, we're seeing the US dollar index diving deep. Right now that they are willing to negotiate and they are already having successful negotiations and decrease in the tariffs, we're going to be seeing the US dollar rise more, okay? So if we go back to the chart, you will see that since the beginning of the day, all right, that is from Asian session into the London session overlap, we're seeing that the US dollar has gained strength over this period. We're seeing it gain strength of around 1.09% in total just for today alone. So we're expecting the US dollar index to continue buying as it has bought into our point of interest. Right now, we'll be careful and wait to see proper structure and proper confirmation for sales before we start taking the sell, because two things that may happen. This could be a reversal move to the upside, okay? So this could be a reversal, not just a mere retracement. It could be a reversal. Now, if you look at it from the weekly time frame, it is looking like a retracement. Okay, so on the weekly time frame, it's looking like a retracement. But if you look at it from the daily time frame, it's looking like a reversal, because we're going to take notice of this minor structure here that price has broken to the upside. Also on the 4-hour time frame, you would see that price has already broken this minor structure and started trading to the upside. So this place being our point of interest for a sell would send would send the dollar index to the downside, okay, for our sell. Or this could be the beginning of a new buy trend, because price getting to this place was not a result of pure price action alone. There were fundamentals that took place, which is what I just explained earlier. So because of the fact that its fundamentals that sent price to the retracement zone, this could be a sign of a complete reversal. So we're going to be watching it carefully. Now, what are we going to be doing based on intraday trading? Now, for intraday trading, starting off with the 1-hour time frame, we will be looking to see price break structures that it has opened. Okay, so I'm expecting price to sell, but before I take a long-term bias for the sell, I want to see price break this low. Okay, so I want to see price break this low right here. If price breaks this low to the downside, then I'll be taking a clear sell and riding it all the way to the downside. Else, I'll just want to take a quick sell to fill up this imbalance that was created right here and then continue buying. Okay, so two things. In terms of the sell, I'll be willing to sell here into this place and continue buying if this is a reversal. Secondly, I will be willing to sell continuously if price goes ahead to break this low and continues trading to the downside. Okay, because this is a higher time frame bias, we would need more patience to see it play out. But if you're looking for scalps that you'll be able to take for the day, or you're looking for intraday trades, then the best trades to be looking out for are buy trades on the US dollar. Okay, so for intraday, we will be looking to buy the US dollar moving forward, where we would want to see it give us a short retracement into this level here, and then we'll continue buying. So for intraday trades, just wait for a brief retracement and then continue buying the US dollar. Talking about retracement, we could be looking for retracement somewhere around here. Okay, we could be looking for retracement somewhere around here, and then we'll take the buys to the upside. So something like this, or this. Okay, so one of the two is going to happen for the US dollar. We're going to just watch and see which one plays out accordingly. So this is my bias for the US dollar. For the long term, I'm expecting a US dollar sell based off the weekly time frame. Just a quick look at the weekly time frame once again. You see that price is traded into 61% level of the fib for the weekly time frame. So I'm expecting another round of sell to the downside. And then for the daily time frame, we've also seen that for the daily time frame, we have clear sell to the downside. However, for the 4-hour time frame, we're seeing buy trend, a clear buy trend. Price has broken structure. This could engineer a new trend to the upside. So we're not going to be missing out on any of the moves. For the buy side, we're expecting a brief retracement and then a continuation to continue buying, because that is what is happening on the intraday basis. If for any reason, however, price now switches up and decides to continue selling, we would want to see it break this structure, and then we would now have a clear long-term sell bias. And by that time, we're going to now show you on the daily time frame our points of interest for the dollar. Okay, now that we've analyzed the dollar, I think it's going to be much more easier to analyze Euro USD and GBP USD. Now for Euro USD, this is the place we're expecting price to return to, and price has sold into it. For most of last week, my bias for Euro USD and GBP USD had been a sell. So we were expecting price to trade into this level, and it has done just that. So right now, we might continue selling off. If the dollar index and the news from the dollar keep being positive, then we'll be looking for a long-term sell of Euro USD. If not, then we'll be looking for a continuation, a buy continuation from this place. Okay, so on the daily time frame, you can see that we had a fair value gap right here and an old high. So Euro USD has traded into it, filled up the fair value gap. We'll be expecting a reversal from there, moving to the upside. So my bias for Euro USD is for it to resume and continue buying. However, if everything looks still clear for more sales based off the news that we're expecting, then we're going to keep selling off Euro USD. So we're in between two buyers, but as usual, we would want to make clear cases for both biases so that whenever anyone plays out, we're sure of the one we're taking and we can take it with confidence, expecting it to trade in our direction. So for Euro USD, this is what we're seeing currently. The tariff negotiation is also affecting Euro USD clearly. So we'll be seeing more sales to the downside. So what we could be waiting for right now is a brief retracement for Euro USD, because you can see that since London Open, it has been selling heavily. So we could wait for a brief retracement and then continue selling it to the downside. But if during the period while we're waiting for a brief retracement, we start to see Euro US take out the high of Friday, then our bias is going to switch for a sell, a buy rather. We're going to be expecting the buy continuation of the higher time frame. So weekly time frame and daily time frame for Euro USD is telling us a buy, but 4 hours and 1 hour time frame, they're showing us for a sell. So based on intraday, we're going to be selling Euro USD. So I'm just waiting for a brief retracement right here. This might not happen in London session. It might happen during the London-New York overlap, which is around 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. GMT plus 1. So we might see that retracement happen, because now that London has pushed this far, we might not be expecting London session to retrace all the way. So for New York to sell, we want to see further retracement on New York session, our pre-New York session, before we take the sell. So you can mark out this low as our point of interest. Okay, so marking out this low, or let me use this instead. So I'm marking out this low as our point of interest for Euro USD sell-off. So if I see price retrace into this level, I'll be selling Euro USD to the downside. But if it's going to resume the buy trend, then I want to see take out the high of Friday before we now join the buy. If not, we'll just keep selling Euro USD, okay? And then GBP USD, very similar thing. From the higher time frame to the lower time frame, very similar thing. For GBP USD, I still have more bias for the downside compared to Euro USD. You can see that on the weekly time frame, it has not retraced as much as Euro USD has. Okay, let me make this. Okay, so GBP USD has not retraced as much as Euro USD has. And then on the daily time frame, you can also see the same thing. This is where we're expecting GBP USD to retrace to, and it has not done that yet. So for that reason, while we are confirming the sell on other time frames, GBP USD, on other pairs, GBP USD is more preferred for me to take a sell on for today. So I'll just be waiting for a retracement to happen. Right now, you can see how it is pushing massively. And then based off sentiment, GBP USD is a preferred sell compared to Euro USD. So I'll just wait for price to return here during the London-New York overlap. Once price returns there, I'll be taking my sell to the downside. So my bias for GBP USD is also a sell. Of course, on the market color group, I'm going to try to share this markup once price gets to the point of interest. So this is where we're expecting a GBP USD sell. Once price gets there, we'll be taking a quick sell to the downside. Another place where I'm expecting it is also here. So either of these two levels would be my preferred level for the GBP USD sell. So once price gets there, I'll be taking a quick sell to the downside from this level, okay? So this is my bias for Euro USD and for GBP USD. I'm expecting quick sells on these two levels, and I want to see how that is going to play out moving into the remaining part of today. So if you have any question, please make sure you ask your question as we continue in today's analysis. We're going to also be looking at gold against the dollar. We're going to be looking at the yen basket, GBP JPY, Euro JPY, and US JPY during this market color period. Okay, so if you have any question, feel free to type in your question, and we're going to make sure we attend to it. Okay, so if there's no question, let us proceed with the analysis for gold against the dollar. But before then, let's just take a quick break, and then when we return, we'll continue with the analysis for gold against the dollar. So stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the analysis for this morning.
Everyone, good morning once again, and welcome back to the market call brought to you by the Value Flow Trading Team. That was a great insight into what we have been expecting on dollar from CJ and a very deep analysis on the other dollar correlated pair, as we've seen what is going on the Euro USD, GBP USD, and also the dollar index. All right, so that gives us a very soft landing to know where we are heading to for the precious metal for the day and particularly for the week. All right, once again, good morning, and let's quickly move on into the analysis of the precious metal. All right. Now, on the daily time frame, if you look at the precious metal, let's even take it from the weekly time frame. We are going to observe that we've been on a very strong bullish trend all through. And if you follow our analysis last week, one of the things we are expecting for the precious metal to do after this, you can see some bit of consolidation around this level. We expect it to trade a bit lower and tap into this trend line before it's going to continue its bullish move again. However, last week happens to be a bullish move for the precious metal, even though we traded with that momentum within the range, and that is also telling us a story, just as we know that every chart move is a story on its own, and you have to play with it. All right. If you look at it from the daily time frame, we are going to observe that we see some level of pullback sometimes 2 weeks ago, and then last week happens to be a bullish week. Then, if you join our mailing list, you'll have gotten the mail what we've been expecting to see on the precious metal for this week and moving forward. And it so happened in a triple of an high, how that price just this morning, price just collapsed all the way into where we've been expecting it to get to. However, we are still of the opinion that yes, we are in a bullish trend, but we still want to see the pullback on the precious metal for the continuation. And just as CJ has said this morning, what really caused the bullishness that we've seen in the dollar. All right. So right now, what we are going to be expecting for the precious metal right from the day time frame is this pullback that we see happen today. You know, we do break down the move on the precious metal into days, particularly for the week, meaning when it creates the low of the week, we expect it to create the high of the week, then closure. So the move that happens today, this morning, ought to be the move that will happen all throughout the day into tomorrow morning. But since it has happened this week, that means we should expect more volatility in the market this week. All right. And if you look at it from the 4-hour time frame, we are going to observe that how we have the shoulder somewhere around this level. There is a sweep of that shoulder here, and we see the break. And before price, after price broke out, it created a liquidity level here before going to clear the diagonal liquidity at the top here. So, and that is exactly what we've been expecting price to come and do. If you check your mail, you are going to see the same markup here. That price should come and take out liquidity somewhere here. Then we should see retracement to also come and take out this level. Then a full collapse into the flip zone. Now, the flip zone is just from the daily time frame. If you look at it very well, it was once a failed bust pattern. And the bust strategy really tells us that whenever the bust pattern fails, it's telling us a story that another one should come up again. All right, so that is what we're seeing here, and this more like a flip zone and correlating with our trend line. So we expect that price should pull off, clear liquidity here, then sell off again into this flip zone. Then from there, we can now begin the rally all the way to the upside. So that is that for the precious metal. Now moving forward, what is our now trade if you've not been in this particular sell moving on? Now that price already took out liquidity here, what should we now look out for? If you check your 1-hour time frame, it becomes much more clearer how that price has moved all the way to sweep liquidity here, and it's reacting to this particular order block just as we have here. So our entry pattern is just for us to wait and watch out for the 15-minute entry signature, and we can easily take our long as price is moving now. All right, this is it here. This is the order block that price is reacting to. So let's go to our entry time frame to see what is happening there. Now on the 15-minute time frame, the entry pattern has not really formed. Price is still more to the downside. So wait until you see your entry signature for the buy. And what is the entry signature that is going to see bullish engulfing for the buy entry? All right. And if you are the type that you just want it instantly as it happens, then you should check your 5 minutes. And on 5 minute time frame, price is still forming, and we've not see the confirmation yet. Yes, although it's already bringing up right now, but wait for the close of this candle. When it closes, you may want to give it a shot with your stop loss just below this week here, all right, for the precious metal. But I use 15-minute time frame majorly until I see that same entry pattern of 15 minutes, then I can now give it a shot. But if this candle on the 5 minutes does not close, this is 15 minutes. If you check it on the 5 minute time frame, if it does not close bullish, that is, it engulfs this particular move, then we are not going anywhere. That means just wait until the sell momentum that you are seeing right now ends, then you can now take it. All right. So that is for the precious metal. And once again, just a quick recap for the precious metal that we are longing as price clears this, as price gives our entry signature. We are longing to come and take out this liquidity. Then we will start shorting. This may be for today into tomorrow. Then we may start shorting right from probably on Wednesday into our daily POI, which is the split zone and also the fair value gap. All right. So when price gets there, we may start longing all the way back up again for the precious metal, because our price has been respecting the trend line for a very long time now, since the beginning of the year. All right, so that is that for the precious metal. Let's quickly get to Japan to see what is happening on the yen basket, and from there we are going to look at the other yen correlated pairs. Now for the yen basket, late yesterday evening, we see how that we have been expecting price to trade all the way into this our weekly POI. So weekly analysis for the yen is this week we want to see some level of bullishness in the yen, how that we should trade more first to take out liquidity here, and also this liquidity level, as you can see, there is more of a resistance around this zone. And if you draw it out just to see what is happening there, we are going to observe it is a very strong resistance zone. How that price has really tested those levels for a very long time now, since last year, all right, since 2023, all right, that's first trial, this is the second one, third, fourth, fifth. So we are expecting that if this bullish move is going to happen, it should come and take out all this resistance and trade properly into the weekly order block. And if you look at the daily time frame, you are going to observe that price reacted from the daily order block sometime last week, and right now this morning we see how the yen basket is collapsing all the way to the downside as against our analysis for the bullishness. And today being Monday, good, we may see it come all the way to take out liquidity around this level, just as we have a lot of liquidity residing at this low. All right, so if that is what is happening for the week, then after price takes out this liquidity level, then we may now begin to look out for the long that we are expecting on the yen basket. However, if you look at it from the 4-hour time frame, you are going to observe that we have a liquidity sweep. There is a bust strategy here too. So that is the move we initially considered last week. But since we see price reaction from this point, we are thinking that price is reacting from that daily order block. But if you look at this very well, you are going to see that we have the bust pattern here, how that price swept liquidity somewhere here and give a break to the upside. Now creates more liquidity somewhere here, but this low is not taken out. I want to believe we all can see this. So this is it here, but this low is still being protected. All right, just as you can see, this low is still being protected somewhere here. Okay, now this is it. Two things happen. If price comes all the way to take out this low, then we expect that this low here should be protected. But if it's been taken out, then we want to wait to see the next price action, then we can follow through. Now, if this is what we are expecting to see on the yen basket, that is pulling all the way back to come and take out liquidity from this low, then what should we expect on the other yen correlated pair? Now, if you look at pairs like GBP, JPY, particularly from the daily time frame, last week happens to be where we are looking more to short GBP, JPY. And into this week, we see how price is trading very quick into this shoulder here. You can see, let me zoom out so you see much clearly. Now you can see how price is trading into this shoulder for GBP, JPY. Now, when price gets deeply inside of it, we want to see if we are going to find any entry signature for us to short GBP, JPY. However, because we know where the yen basket is heading to from the signal it's giving this morning, so we are expecting that GBP, JPY will still rally all the way to come and take out liquidity around this high. You can see this is the liquidity level around this high. So of which this same thing is more like an inverse of what we are seeing on the yen basket happening on GBP, JPY. Just like if you flip the yen basket chart, you are going to have something more like GBP, JPY chart. Now, meaning price, if the yen basket is going to clear that liquidity that we marked out, then we expect GBP, JPY also to trade all the way to take out this level here. But because of what from the analysis we have earlier on the GBP USD. Now, if GBP USD is tanking currently and we expect it to pull back all the way to the upside, then that means we should expect more of the move on the GBP JPY. All right, this is also giving us some more confirmation of what we're expecting GBP USD. All right, so let's look out for more to see how that price is going to come all the way to take out liquidity around this level. Then we can now look out for our entry signature to start shorting GBP JPY. But if you look at it from the 4-hour time frame, we have similar price action there. Is also much more clearer. You can see this is the shoulder, this is the sweep. Price after breaking to the downside, you see how it created liquidity here, which means that may be what price is going to go and target all the way to the upside. Now, if you look at the current move, what is now the current move now? But knowing fully well that we won't just hold our hands and just watch price keep moving while we look, but what exactly should we look out for? Now, if you look at the 1-hour time frame, right now we see the bullish trend happening on GBP JPY, and it's so amazing that from the analysis we have earlier, we are seeing GBP USD tanking while GBP JPY is rallying. So which of them is going to correlate first? All right, then that should give us an insight from the yen basket. Since the yen basket is telling us where it's still going to take out liquidity, then that is telling us that GBP JPY should still buy more to take out that level that we are seeing at daily liquidity level. So that is what we are expecting there. All right. Now, if you check the 15-minute time frame, what exactly is the move on the 15-minute time frame? For 15-minute time frame, there's no entry for any sell yet. Instead, we see two clear entry for buy early this morning. That is meaning this is the first one, while this happens to be the major one, second one. So if we are still heading all the way to come and take out liquidity on this daily time frame here, then what should be our entry signature? That means we should wait for price to come back all the way into this zone here. You can see, meaning price trading back into the Asian high. You can see it here. So if price comes back into the Asian high, then that means we have two cases built at that level, meaning the flip zone, this is the flip zone, it should turn to be a flip zone 1, this fair value gap 2, and also this other block. So the moment we see any retracement a bit into this level, we can give it a shot with our stop loss just below the other block somewhere here. So that will be the entry for us to go and hit the daily POI at the liquidity level for GBP JPY. And if that doesn't happen earlier on, before we move on rather, then that means we should look out for what the current candlestick is going to form. Meaning if this closes very strongly as a bullish candle, then you may give it a try again. But that is going to be a low probability trade, meaning trying to buy at this level is simply trying to buy at premium considering this current time frame. Does that make sense? So that is that for GBP JPY. All right, for Euro JPY, then AUD JPY. For Euro JPY, what do we have currently? If you look at Euro JPY right from the weekly time frame, we are going to observe that price is still heading all the way to come and tap properly into this order block and also take out liquidity here. And there is also something we see at the top here for Euro JPY, meaning we have our shoulder built there since last year, 2024, and price has not really tapped into it just as it has did for GBP JPY. But for Euro JPY, it has not really tapped. So there is more probability we see Euro JPY, since we are still expecting more retracement and price to clear liquidity on the yen basket, there's more probability we see Euro JPY come all the way to tap into this order block clearly and then begin to sell to the downside. Now, if you look at it from the daily time frame, we are going to observe that the Euro JPY is still very much also in a very strong resistance zone, just as we have the yen basket also, retracing from its own. Euro JPY is attempting to break its own. So two things happen. If price breaks out from this strong resistance zone that we have here, as you can see, then we expect it to be a flip zone for price for it to continue upside. However, if the buy on the yen basket now resumes, then that means this for Euro JPY is going to be a fake out, meaning price is going to clear all these liquidity levels here, then it begins to sell all the way back again. All right, so that is what we are looking out for. But what is the now move for Euro JPY? Since we are expecting all yen basket yen pairs to buy pending the time yen is going to clear its liquidity level, then what we should look out for, as you can see, is that price has been longing for Euro JPY. So if you come to your 15-minute time frame too, we see more like a bit similar to GBP JPY, but it's not really much clear on Euro JPY. So I would advise we should still focus more on GBP JPY that has a direct correlation with our analysis on the yen basket right now. All right, so that is that for the Euro JPY. And lastly, as we round up the analysis, let's quickly check AUD JPY, the Australian dollar, as against the Japanese yen. Now, if you look at the AUD JPY, Australian dollar against the Japanese yen, there's a level we've been waiting for on the 4-hour time frame of the AUD JPY since last week. Remember, we said we are not going to short AUD JPY because of what has been happening here for the past almost 2 weeks now. We are seeing a very long consolidation happening, and that is the reason why we did not take the short on AUD JPY since 2 weeks ago. Instead, we were expecting if we are truly going to short it, then let's see when price gets to this 4-hour order block here, let's see the price reaction at that level before we can consider shorting AUD JPY. But just as you can see right now, the order block has been violated with this current candle. So if this current 4-hour candle closes heavily bullish just as it's moving now, then that simply tells us that AUD JPY is heading all the way to the upside to do what? To take out liquidity such as we have here. All right, so we are expecting it to come and take out liquidity around this level. So that is our outlook for AUD JPY. But for the now trade, since we still expect it to take out liquidity around that level, we've seen how that it also have a similar chart pattern with GBP JPY. Now look at this bullish trend that we have in the market. Now, how are we going to take the trade? Let's check on the 15-minute time frame. Good. On the 15-minute time frame, we have our flip zone just at the Asian eye somewhere here. And after the flip zone, we have our order block there and this fair value gap. Now, this fair value gap, price stylishly tap into it a bit, but I'm still of the opinion we may still see this is, if we are buying right now, we are buying at premium, and two things happen. It is a low probability trade we are buying right now. So instead, I would advise if we see price retrace a bit to clear like more of trade into 50% of this fair value gap, just as we have here. Now, if price trade into that 50% of this fair value gap, how do you know that? Just draw your Fibonacci from this point to this other block here. Then you look at the 50% level, which is going to be somewhere here. Now, if price trades into this level and you see your entry signature, just as we have here, or something like this, inside of this zone, we are following through. But right now, we have a low probability trade, meaning the moment price, you can see, yes, we see something like price, engulfing this sell candle, but it's not really a very clean one for us to take. All right, so you may just want to wait a bit to see something like this here in this discount level, then you can easily follow through for a JPY. So once again, a quick recap for the precious metal. What we are expecting is the sell all the way to the downside to take out liquidity, and we've seen that happen. And now, right now, what we are expecting right now for the precious metal is to buy all the way back up, and we've not seen that happen. Give that signature to see what price is still doing. So we are not going to take that move right now. So instead, just wait to see the proper signature form, and we can easily follow through. Why for the yen corrected pair for GPGPY, we are expecting that price is still going to pull back all the way into this fair value gap, just as we've seen here, and also this little. And the moment we see the entry signature for the buy around this zone, we can easily buy all the way back up. Now, I'm expecting this to happen more into maybe the London break or towards the New York Open. That is what we should expect, because right now a lot of volatility has been pushed into the market and price has been buying all the way to the upside. All right, so this is going to be the end of the analysis. If you have any questions, you can easily type in the chat box for us to quickly address it if you have any question. But if no question, remember 2 p.m. we are going to have more of a recap again to see what is happening in the market. All right. Oh, good morning, Mr. Topper Samuel. Good morning. Thank you so much. All right, if there's no question, this is going to be the end of the market call brought to you by the Value Flow Trading team. All right. Okay, the precious metal, we are expecting the precious metal. All right, we are expecting the precious metal we are expecting to enter the precious metal when we have the entry position here on the 15-minute time frame. We see our entry signature on the 15-minute time frame. So that's when we are expecting to enter the precious metal. But right now, we've not seen any entry signature, meaning if we see a bullish engulfing pattern inside of this zone, then we can easily enter, because price has traded into a 4-hour POI. You can see the shoulder sweep with liquidity being grabbed. Then we expect price to retrace all the way to take out liquidity here. So that is it for the precious metal. I hope I've been able to answer your question. All right. If you're okay. All right. Thank you. So if there's no question, this is going to be the end of the market call brought to you by the Value Flow Trading team. So we meet again by 2 p.m. Make sure you trade cautiously and use your proper risk management strategy. I'm Lekon sharing. Cheers and God bless.